Hi, my name is Barbara. I want to share my story on how I survived mental and sexual abuse by someone I truly trusted during my teenager
Just like
years.
if the kids asleep, you still like you in the house by yourself. And she said it was fine as long as we sit on the porch. So I was good with that. So I was while she got dressed, she left to go to a Key Sweat concert. I know she probably won't come back until late. And the boyfriend that I had then, and he was in high school, he had practice that day, so he didn't come until later. And I didn't know what time he was showing up, but I was sitting there. It's a love seat, just like this one that I'm sitting in now. I was sitting there watching TV. Now, I remind you, my godmom, for some reason, every house she lived in, she always had sheer and or lace curtains, like somebody could, like you could see inside. And I was like, I did not like that because I was sitting watching TV and I just felt like somebody can be watching me. And I was so nervous about that. But I just, like, pushed through it. I will get up and check on the kids, make sure they're okay. Um, I sit back down watching TV. Then I heard keys. Because my goddad always carried all the keys on him. So I heard some keys. And then next thing I know, my goddaddy came in. And he was like, hey, you know, I said, hi. And he said, you still up? I was like, yes. But he didn't know that I was actually waiting on my friend, my boyfriend. And because my godmama, I told her when she was getting dressed, can he come? So and they didn't communicate with that because he was at work. And so I was sitting on the couch, and he came over. He sat next to me, like real close to me, and he never did that before. So I'm like, I really don't like when, by me being violated before when I was young, I really don't like that if a guy surprised me, like, like anyone that been violated before know it's a different when they say, well, when somebody touching you and you don't feel them like that, it's a surprise, and then somebody that you feeling and you have that, you know, that connection with them, it's a different feeling. So this was a different feeling. It made me feel like I was compromised. I felt violated at that point while he was sitting so close. And I didn't like that. So I tried to scoot over some. But he still was right there. Then he put his arm around my shoulder. And I was like feeling real comfortable, like trying to push him off. But at the same time, not trying to be so rude and get him mad. And I was sitting like this, and he put, so how's your night going? With it? Everything good in school? And he talked with an accent because he's from another country. And everything good in school? And I was like, yes, sir. Then next thing I know, out of nowhere, he cupped my breast like this. Like he was sitting right there and he cupped my breast. Like reached over like this and cupped my breast. And before I can say anything and jump up real quick, I heard this bang on the door. Cause remember, I'm in the living room and the door is right there. So I heard this banging on the door. Get your hand up, get your effing hand off her. Get your hand off her, banging down the door. So I was already in the motion by the time who was banging on the door, by the time all that was at one time. By the time I jumped up real quick from where he cupping me, the banging was on the door then. And I jumped up and I ran to the door. It was my boyfriend. He was trying to push his way in. You keep your hand off her. What the fuck? What's going on? What's going on? What is he doing? What is he doing? What is going on? And I was like, started crying because he was a boxer and my goddaddy. He was small, but he was tall, and I'm not saying who gonna be who, but I just didn't want to be in the midst of that where they fighting over me, and then I had to go home because my whole thing is I did not want to go home from the situation I had at home, and I wanted to stay. So I had to push him out and cry and beg him to get out the doorway and push him out the gate. Walking down, because remember, he stayed like 3 to 4 houses from my godmom. So we walked around his house. His mom was there, and he was telling her what was going on. And his mom was like, I'm going to tell your godmama when she get home. You're not going back there until she get home. And I was crying to them because I was trying to beg them, please do not tell. Because if you tell, they're going to send me home. And I don't want to go home. Because even though he did that, I felt like my situation was worse at home. So his mom was there, in the living room. We were talking, and I was just telling her, what had happened. And she would ask me the questions about, did he ever try it? And it was just, he never tried it. I never saw him as trying to come on to me. Or I was a child. I didn't pay attention to that. I don't know if he was looking at me. I don't know. I was a child. I wasn't paying attention to that. And she just said, okay, you're going to stay over here for the night. And in the morning, we're going to go there and we're going to talk to your godmama. And I started crying, like talking to her about what? And she was like, I'm just letting her know that we'll just make up something while you not home. So the next morning, my godmama came around there looking for me that morning. And his mom came out and said that, they were watching TV. And they fell asleep on the couch watching TV. It was no funny, nothing going on. Nothing was going on. So I left home with my godmama. So my goddaddy stared clear to me, like not looking at me. Like I just ignored it. Then it was time for me to go home anyway. So after I went home, so happened they was moving again. And they moved to another house. I mean, that ain't too far from where I'm at. My home with my mom. So I haven't seen them almost a year, I think. But I stayed in touch. But she didn't know about this. So I'm thinking in my mind that because he be drinking beer, so I'm thinking that, well, maybe he was drunk. So I put that in my head as a teenager that he was drunk and he didn't mean to, so we just gonna bypass it. Here I go. They moved to another house. I come back, I used to come to their house, stay months, weeks, summer, and they was my family, more than my own family. I looked up to them. They all I had. And they moved to this other house that was more bigger. And so this is the second incident that happened. I got a little older and we bypassed. I'm in high school now. When I know a lot of girls when they're young and teenager, they be they go through their menstrual thing and they be cramping. My cramps was really bad. Put in my head as a child that he was drunk the first time. Now this time, he on break from lunch from work. There's no way he driving a truck and he drunk or he drinking. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So as I push him off, I was like, oh, I forgot something that I'm going to the store. Because the store wasn't too far from their house. And sometimes I go to the store if I need something, I'm trying to make dinner and I forgot something or I'm trying to get a snack, whatever the case might be. So I made an excuse I had to go to the store and he was like, I can take you. I was like, no, I need to walk. Anything to get out the house. Because I was in a compromised situation. And I didn't know what to do. But I know if I have told, she would have sent me back home. So I had to come up with a strategy. I'm walking, I'm crying. And remember, I am in middle school, 8th grade. And I'm crying and I'm like, this again. What should I do? So I came up the only plan that I can come up with to not hurt her and not get me something back home, that when I have to stay home, that it be so bad with my cramps, if I have to stay home, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start hiding from him. Because I can hear the truck when it's coming. He come with the truck. You can hear the truck pulling up. So when the truck pulling up, I would go out the back door, either hide behind the house or hide somewhere in the house. Because remind you, at that point, I was a size 0 to 1. So I can get through anything and under beds and stuff. So that's exactly what I did. Because I felt like he was coming back to play with me, like to get me. So what I did was I hid in my godmom's room, their room, because nobody's not gonna, if they looking for somebody, they're not gonna look in their room, because you don't supposed to be in their room. So ain't no child gonna go in the parent room, because you don't supposed to be in there. So what I did, I hid in the room. And what I did, they used to have stuff around their bed, like shoes and stuff. So I would move the shoes, I would slip through the bed, under the bed, and cover the shoes back up, but leave a little peek hole, like that I'm facing towards the door of their room. I left the door open, so he had to come down that hallway and go in rooms and stuff, and I could see him when he leaving. So that's what I did. So he didn't initially come in their room, he just peeked in there and then closed the room door back. And I could hear him going in rooms and going in stuff and closing the closet. Then he came in their room and just looked around just a little bit. And then he left the door open. I could hear him on the phone talking to my godmama, asking her what I'm at. Don't I supposed to be at the house? I don't know what she said to him because she was at work. But he left. He went in the refrigerator. I heard the refrigerator door open, and then he closed the refrigerator door back, and then he left. I didn't move out of there until I heard that truck crank up, because it was loud. I heard that truck crank up, and that's when I came out. I had to do that a lot while I was to their home, and my godmama never knew. It was times that I was so miserable at school. I was cramping so bad, but I knew he was going to come home. I got tired of hiding. And it sometimes that it would rain, and I know I couldn't go out there, so I had to hide somewhere. And I just decided, and then when they do come home and ask me where I'm at, I was like, my mama had called for me, but we didn't stay too far. We far enough to walk, but not to drive, but not, not to walk. But I just make all kind of excuses.